my name's Matt, and I'll be showing you a video on a demonstration on how to drive a manual car. Now, have you ever wanted to sneak out of your house, or I would say maybe your parents' house, for example, and turns out the car is manual and you're like, oh crap, I don't know how to drive it? Well, here, I'm going to show you how. Showing you what makes a manual car, what each part does, and how they all contribute to driving. Second, I'm going to show you and explain to you how to drive a manual car. And lastly, I'm going to tell you the pros and cons of driving a manual car. Alright, I'm here. I'm going to explain the components of how to drive a manual car. And the first thing you want to look at is the shift knob right. Now, this right here is your shift knob. If you look closely, it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Those are your gears. And down, back is reverse. That's a safety feature so you won't accidentally go in 6th gear. And this is also neutral. You also want to look at your RPM gauge, which is up here. This is your RPM gauge. You want to look at this when you're shifting. And down below is your this is your clutch. The one on the far left, brake and gas. You want to only use the clutch by using your left foot, and that's it. Alright, so now that I showed you the components of a manual car, I'm going to show you how to drive. First thing you want to do first is you want to put your key in the ignition. Alright, and for all manual cars, it will not start unless you apply the clutch. The clutch, start the car, lower the e-brake, and you want to hold the clutch, put it in first gear. You always want to start in first gear from a stop, not second, always first. And you want to give power like that, and then slowly release the clutch, and you're going to move, and then let go. And then you're going to power, gas, second, release the clutch. So every time you want to shift, you got to apply the clutch and let go of the gas. So off the gas, clutch, third, release the clutch slowly, and apply gas, and now I'm in third. Same for fourth. And that's it. Alright, I'm here again to explain to you guys about the pros and cons of driving a manual car. One of the pros is that you can save gas mileage. You can get about 2 to 3 more miles per gallon depending on how you drive. You could do this simply by in a higher gear at low RPMs, and depending on what speeds you are in and what gear. It all varies, but it's how you drive. Another is that you have more control over the car simply by saying that you have full control of what gear to put it in. And another, my personal, is that I believe is a little more fun overall. The cons is that if you're in traffic and say you're in first gear, like right now, and you forget you're in first gear and you release the clutch without giving it any RPMs, this is what it is like giving power. Now, if you just let it sit there and you release the clutch, you would jump forward and you could possibly hit the person in front of you, and ultimately ending in a stall, which means that your car would die. I'm going to show you that right now. I'm in first gear, I'm not stepping on the gas, I'm going to release the clutch, and it's going to jump forward and my car is going to shut off. That right there is called my shifting, and it was at lower speed, so you can't really see the full effect of shifting in a manual car, and also downshifting. So I want to go on an open road, and I'm going to show you. I'm going to run my car through the gears, and then I'm going to show you downshifting of how it can actually slow you down and save on your brakes. Alright, so first gear, run through the gears, second. Watch the RPMs. That's third gear and second gear. And you don't want to go to first, so you just want to turn around right here. And same thing. Start off third gear. Fourth. Alright, to recount what I demonstrated to you guys, I have showed you stick shift, RPM gauge, what the pedals meant. I showed you how to drive by always applying the clutch to start it, lowering the e-brake, always start off in first gear, clutch, off the gas, second gear, and every time you start off, you always want to have some gas, because if you don't, you will stall. The pros and cons: you can save gas. For me, it's just more fun to drive, and you do have a little more control when you're driving. And now that I've showed you all these, which are the basics, I hope you can now sneak out of your parents' house and take that nice car you always wanted to drive.